Hi from the All Brands booth at Quilt Festival. I'm Heather Banks, one of your brother educators, and in this session, I'll be demonstrating the NQ1700E. This is an embroidery-only machine with a large hoop. If you've been looking to move up in hoop size, this might be your machine. It cuts jump stitches and is the perfect size for travel as well. Let's jump right in and see why it's such a popular embroidery machine. Brother's NQ1700E is an embroidery-only machine. What makes this machine so special? Well, it has a lot of high-end bells and whistles, and I'm going to reveal those to you today. In addition, it's wireless capable, so you can send designs from your computer to this machine using Brother's free design database transfer app. If you're looking for a dedicated embroidery machine so you can sew while your machine embroiders, then this machine would be perfect. Get twice as much done while your embroidery machine stitches. So here you can see this is the 1700E. This is the body of the machine, and then it has a separate embroidery arm, which is right here. Now we'll go ahead and put the embroidery arm on so we can turn the machine on and show you some of the specifics. It's pretty simple to put on. You just slide the arm straight on. Now we can turn on the machine and we can show you a few more details. So with the embroidery arm attached, this machine weighs 27 pounds. Now you wouldn't want to carry it with it attached, but that is the entire weight of the unit. It is 27 inches long from one side to the other and about 12 inches high. With this machine, you get 8.3 inches from the needle to the arm, so there's quite a bit of space in here, which is what allows you to have a larger hoop. There is an LED port on this side, so you can import designs directly into the machine using the USB. And then there are two LED lights at the top. And to give you an example of what it is like without the LED lights, let's turn those off so you can see the difference those make. So if we scroll over in the menu, then you can see this is the difference. So those two LED lights actually give you quite a bit of light down underneath as well. Let's take a look at what is included with the machine. You will get two hoops, a 5x7 hoop and a large 6x10 hoop. Additionally, both hoops come with plastic inserts with a grid so that you can line up your designs easier. And then they come with an accessory pouch. So you'll expect to get lots of little tools like screwdriver, needles, bobbins, seam ripper, things like that. So in this package comes the machine's body, the embroidery arm, two hoops, and tools. Let's take a closer look at how this machine is threaded. Brother machines have a numbered threading system, so you follow the numbers until you end up at the back of the needle bar. Once there, I'm simply going to wrap my thread in front of the last number and pull the tail off. I'm going to be using the advanced needle threading system, which is right here on the right. And what I will do is lower my presser foot and push this lever down. And that is all it takes. Let's see that close up. Lower your presser foot and press the lever. That's it. That is how you thread this Brother machine. It's as simple as that. This machine uses a 90 weight bobbin thread. It has a drop-in bobbin, so it's easy to place inside the machine. You simply drop it inside and bring the thread around and place the cover back over the bobbin. This is the main screen of the NQ1700E. Within this machine are 258 built-in designs. This includes 13 different lettering fonts, as well as 2 different floral alphabets. With this feature, you can see how much design space is still left within the hoop. This is a really nice feature because I can see that there is plenty of space to add additional designs, or I can simply look at the design close up and see what I think of the design details. In the first two categories, you'll find a wide variety of embroidery designs. You can scroll through and see what kinds of designs you want to use and see how different they are. Again, we can always use the enhancement ability of the screen to see what the design looks like in detail, as well as to see how much room it will take in the hoop. The size of the design is always displayed at the top right corner as well. This is one of my favorite designs. And it takes up almost all of the design space you can see here in the 6 by 10 inch hoop. This is letting me know over here on the side that this is the only hoop this design will fit into. These are grayed out because the smaller hoops won't work at this size. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more editing. So I can use my finger to drag and drop across the screen, or I can also enlarge the design so I can really see the design details. You can enlarge up to 300%. I can resize my design. Right here, this tells me how tall or wide it is, but I can make it smaller, I can make it larger, I can make it disproportional as well and make it just taller or wider. This will just take me back to the original size of the design. I can rotate my designs. I can also mirror image my design. So here you can see that I've completely changed the direction. Now, if I want to add to my design, which is very popular if you were thinking about personalizing the design and you wanted to add a name or a monogram, you can use the Add button. So I would simply press Add and then go to, in this instance, let's add text. So perhaps I want to add a name or description. So we'll go ahead and just spell out the word cat. Now I can move this letter anywhere I want onto my screen in the design space. So this kind of works for me. I'm liking that. And this will give you an idea of how we can edit or change on the screen. As you can see, this is plenty big for me to be able to decide if I'm happy with this. And additionally, let's do some font editing because you can make other changes here on the screen. I can spread out the letters. I can move them closer. I can make, for instance, just one letter larger or smaller. I can turn the lettering or fonts into an array. So I can bend the letters a little bit, change the orientation. And I think this one is particularly helpful. I can change the font itself. So maybe the original font I picked isn't really what I'm liking. So I can change that as well. So let's go ahead and add one more element to this design space. And let's just choose a simple square to go around our cat design. You can see there's quite a few to choose from. Press Set. And we can then resize this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this space around my cat. My design is almost 7 inches tall, and let's see how well it fits into the hoop. So really with this machine, you're getting a very large hoop that will allow you to put a lot of different designs in it at one time. Okay, so once we've reached the end of the different editing categories, we can also save directly to the machine. We can save to a USB. Let's look at the wireless feature in a little bit more detail. Here in the bottom right-hand corner is the wireless button, and you can see that it is currently connected to my wireless because it is blue. All this is telling me is that my wireless has been set up. It is currently established. If I push the pocket, what this will do is allow me to import a design from each of these locations. So designs that I've saved to the machine, for instance, our cat that we just saved, can be pulled up and brought back for use. So there's our cat that we saved to the machine. If I push this button, I can also, this is where I would import any designs that are on a USB drive, thumb drive, and this would allow me to bring over designs wirelessly from my PC. So if I send a design from my PC to the machine, this is the button that I would use to retrieve it. Well, Brother has a new app called Design Database Transfer App, and this app is free. It's free to all users, and with it, you can send designs from your PC to this machine when you're connected to the wireless. This is an example of what Design Database Transfer will look like on your computer. You can choose from the designs in your computer, which you see here at the top of the screen, and then you transfer them wirelessly from this app to your machine. We'll begin by placing our hooped fabric, and we'll be using the 6 by 10 inch hoop, into the arm of the embroidery machine and press down the lever. This hoop is now ready for stitching. At the screen, we'll go ahead and choose a letter to stitch out, and we'll just pick any random letter and go ahead and size it up. Let's do the biggest letter we can, which is just under 2 inches, and press OK. Now I'm all finished with my editing. One of the things that we can do is something that we call an outline or a trace option, and that's what you're seeing right here. So when I press this button, the machine or the needle will go around in a square that represents the size of the letter. This is a nice way to know if you are going to be stitching in the area you want. Okay, so what happens is you push the outline or trace. Now this would be needle positions that represent the corners or the sides of our design. If I press this button, it will simply go in a full complete square, showing me where it was going to stitch. Perfect. Let's press OK. And then let's go to the final screen. So now on this screen, what you'll see is all of the information about our design. So right here, I know there are 932 stitches in this B. It will take approximately 4 minutes to stitch out, and there will be 1 thread change. That's it. It also tells me which foot to use and the color that's been chosen. Another option you do have in this machine is that you can, if I go back a couple screens, I can change the color of the thread on the screen. Of course, you can change the color when you change any thread in the machine itself. But if I want to see what it looks like on the screen, then I simply press this option and I can go through any of the colors and choose one that I like. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that one, finish our editing, and go to the final embroidery screen. So now you can see we'll actually see the purple color on the screen. One final thing to note on this is the jump stitch function. Now I mentioned that this machine contains high-end features. One of these features is the fact that it can cut jump stitches. Now, what is a jump stitch, you may be wondering if you're especially new to embroidery. Here is an example of something that I have stitched. In this case, I left the jump stitches off. I did not cut them. And what I have are places where the thread jumped from one location to another. When jump stitches are not trimmed, you're left with a piece of thread that exists between these areas. With this machine, the jump stitches are automatically trimmed. So instead of having to go back and trim each of these sections later at a different time, they will automatically be trimmed for me. And this really is a time-saving function and a reason why the 1700 has features I would consider to be in a high-end machine. Another reason you may want to turn off the jump stitches, and you can do that here by simply pressing these buttons, is if you are doing in the hoop quilting. If you are a quilter and you use embroidery designs for quilting and you want to be able to tie off your threads and bury them in the quilt, then you would want to just turn these off, and this would keep your machine from trimming the jump stitches. Let's press OK, and let's go ahead and start stitching. Another high-end exciting feature of the NQ1700E is its ability to start embroidering without needing to press the presser foot down button. It will start automatically. Let me show you how. In the settings screen, we have an option, and it is for embroidery foot auto down. If you turn this on like you see here, then when we go to stitch, all we need to do is get into embroidery mode and the button will turn green. This means instead of having to manually put the presser foot down, I can simply start embroidering. Okay, so what's happened here is that our bobbin thread has run out in the middle of our design. What do? Is there an option on the machine for handling this? Let's head back over to the screen. Now I'm going to go ahead and push the -+ button. And what this does is it allows me to move my stitch where I am located in my stitches forward or backwards. So if I'm right now at 495, and that is exactly where my bobbin ran out, if I start here at 496, then my threads will not be tied off. They will stay loose. They don't have something to attach them. So what I want to do is be able to move backwards and run over the stitches and basically tie them off. So what I've done at the machine is I have removed the hoop, changed my bobbin. That was just a simple task. And now I'm going to go back to the screen and I'm going to move back, and the amount is subjective. I'm going to go back 20 stitches, press OK. And now I'm going to stitch back over those stitches, and then I'll trim off these excess threads. Now, if we go back to the screen, you'll see that the stitch count is changing. It's actually increasing to show us how many stitches have been put into our design. This lets me know that we are on the last minute of our stitch out and that all of the colors have been used. Notice when it reaches the end that it does a tie-off stitch automatically and trims the thread. There we go. It's all done. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, this looks really great. I'm just going to trim off those threads from when I changed my bobbin, and pretty much good to go and use this design. The results turned out really great. What are some of the other things you can do with an embroidery machine like this? Well, you're buying it for personalization, right? I mean, you want to be able to add names. You want to be able to decorate the way you like. Here's a cork bag that I created. This was actually sewn together. And you can see how beautifully this machine stitches out on cork. And I was able to use a built-in font and personalize that. Here is a garden flag and something that, again, is a built-in design, but something that you could create using this machine. And again, personalization, that's kind of key. And one of the main reasons people love embroidery is to be able to personalize it and make it unique and special for them. Another way that you can use your machine, your embroidery machine, is to make custom quilt labels for people. So here's something where I use one of the built-in shapes on the outside or the outline, and then I use the built-in fonts to simply create a very special, very personal quilt label. And if you are a Disney fan, you can always go to brothersibroidery.com site and download Disney designs. And again, here is one of the built-in frames and fonts used with a Cruella de Vil Disney design. So you can always go there. Again, that was ibroidery.com to get your Disney designs. Here's one other design that's currently a work in progress, but this is one of the fonts that came from the machine as well as a design. Now, this is a single stitch design intended for more than likely something that you would use to quilt with, but I've simply stitched it out twice and you get an adorable sewing room theme decor. So again, something that is found directly in the 1700. Use the NQ1700 to personalize your projects, make unforgettable gifts and home decor for yourself and others. Thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy Quilt Festival with all brands.